Throughout various points in history, there have been many different ideas or stories about the idea that there is a copy of us out there. These copies can go by many names and come from many cultures, but one we are all familiar with is that of the doppelganger. Originally coming from Germany, the literal translation of doppelganger is double walker, usually indicative of a bad omen or even death. There are plenty of stories, both historical and modern, of these creatures. However, with the simple idea being used over and over again in pop cultures, movies, and things of the sort, why are we as people so afraid of them?
Two years ago, David was involved in a terrible car accident while driving back to California from Mexico.
There was a problem with the car, and I landed in the highway with my head first.
Okay.
But like this truck that is coming by, that's what I want.
For 5 weeks, David lay in a coma. Serious injuries led to the loss of his right arm. But to everyone's relief, when he regained consciousness, his mental capacities seemed to be intact.
He was articulate, he was intelligent, not obviously psychotic or emotionally disturbed. He could read a newspaper. Everything seemed fine, except he had one profound delusion. He would look at his mother and he would say, "This woman, doctor, she looks exactly like my mother. But in fact, she's not my mother. She's an imposter."
There are, of course, people with similar traits, which can make people look eerily similar to one another. However, science has yet to find two people who are 100% similar. While the phenomenon is mainly regarded to be paranormal, there is a specific medical condition that mimics some of the traits of these double walkers, called the Capgras syndrome. Capgras syndrome is a syndrome in which a person holds a delusion that a friend, spouse, parent, another close family member, pet, or in the case of doppelgangers, ourselves, have been replaced by an identical imposter. Someone known for a person's whole life, a parent, a wife, a child, suddenly a fake. Usually these people show no other signs of mental issues, yet without a shadow of a doubt in their minds, they think the people that they once were close with and loved are simply not the ones they remember. Therefore, if we look to science for the previously asked questions as to why we humans are scared of the idea of doppelgangers, the answer would be we are scared of imposters, including ourselves. Maybe this trait evolved from early humans needing to be very wary of people from other tribes living among them. Maybe we needed a fear response from accidentally interacting with a different species of human long gone by now. But one thing is for certain, we humans are scared of those we do not know, and the Capgras syndrome is shining evidence of that. But this is just science. There's still the realm of the unknown.
If you see another person that looks identical to you, run away and hide.
Movies, analog horror, and even some of the far reaches of TikTok and Instagram, storytellers have started experimenting with the pop culture ideas of doppelgangers. But there are several instances of these creatures from different cultures and folklore and mythology. For example, the people of ancient Egypt believe in what is known as Ka, a spiritual double born with every person that shares similarities with the ideas of a doppelganger. The Ka could leave the body after death, acting sort as a spiritual doppelganger. Later down the path of human history, the Norse believed in the concept of a spirit with a similar concept to the doppelganger. It precedes its living counterpart, performing their actions in advance, often seen or heard by others before the person is ever there. There are also some beliefs that doppelgangers are the work of alternate realities and parallel universes. Some modern speculative interpretations link doppelgangers to the concept of these alternate dimensions, where a version of oneself exists and somehow crosses into our world for reasons unknown. The most common supernatural origin is of course the Germanic version, where the name we know them by today is from. In this version, the doppelganger represents something simple, an ominous omen. Encountering one's own doppelganger was often considered a premonition of death or a sign of impending tragedy. If this version is to be believed, then the answer would be simple. We fear our own doppelganger because we fear the impending doom it brings with it, death or otherwise. The idea that we could one day stare down an exact version of ourselves is nothing short of a nightmare. Whether that version exists as an anomaly of our mind in the case of the Compras syndrome, or a spiritual copy as the ancient Egyptians and Vikings believed, maybe they're the work of alternate dimensions or reality, or even just a bad omen. We might never truly understand the truths or lies behind doppelgangers, especially with the fact that there are any number of scientific reasons it could be. But maybe, just maybe, the truth is death, staring us in the face.